Good afternoon, everybody. It is 1:10 right now, so it's time to start our presentation. Welcome to the presentation organized by LTM and 7-Eleven on Agentic AI, part of the Databricks Data AI Summit. This is the legal statement that they want us to display, so it's very standard. Have to display it for a few seconds. Thank you very much. As a reminder, do not forget, please, to complete your surveys. Surveys always help us receive feedback and improve our presentations and make for a better future event here at Databricks. Thank you for that. And with that, we're ready to move to the main part of this presentation. This is called Accelerating Operational Resilience at Scale, and it is a collaboration between 7-Eleven and LTM. Particularly, we're looking at how 7-Eleven's integration of Databricks and Agentic AI help us accomplish this operational resilience at scale. We're going to go through some challenges, present our solution to us, discuss the benefits, the lessons learned, and then some final thoughts. At the very end, this is a lightning presentation, so it's going to be only 20 minutes total. But at the very end, we will try to have 3-4 minutes for questions if you have any. So let me start then, a closer look at what we are talking about. Now, 7-Eleven is a company that has many thousands of stores worldwide, about 85,000 right now internationally. We are housed at the headquarters in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, where we are taking care of the North America, which is United States and Canada. And that is about 13,000 stores. Out of those, many thousands of stores have gas stations. The particular project is about fuel equipment, in other words, gas stations and fuel pumps. And it is equipment downtime, making sure that we call for maintenance when the equipment requires that. When critical equipment fails, sales are intermediately impacted, as you can understand. The cumulative effect of downtime across thousands of locations represents a massive potential revenue loss, and we want to avoid that. So let's see now what is the traditional approach to developing such a solution that will protect the revenue stream loss due to equipment downtime. Traditionally, you will have to acquire your talent, right? So identify and assemble teams takes time to make sure that you have all the required skills. The cost of development, so your highly skilled team members would have to work on extended timelines. A project like this typically requires a team of 5+ resources. And the time to market, there's a cycle until you actually have this solution in production, going live to all those thousands of stores that we have. That's a traditional approach. And now we are doing a more modern approach using Agentic AI. And let's talk about what this looks like. Okay, so what you see at the top is the broader environment where we operate. Here we have the store equipment on one end and the Delta Lake, which is the Databricks. Actually, our platform at 7-Eleven is on the Azure cloud. So it is Azure Databricks cloud. And we have the Delta Lake. Then we have the machine learning modules that implement the solution that detects when the equipment is down and produces some alert. And then finally, we have fully automated generation of service tickets and work orders. In our environment, this happens as a ServiceNow incident ticket and work orders. And there's full integration end-to-end across all that. The agentic workflow specifically includes code generation, and that, in this example, was done using Windsurf as an IDE, the integrated development environment, integrated with GitLab, and then finally receiving the Databricks, going to Databricks environment where it is running as a production job. Rajesh?
Thank you, Nick. So what we do is we first ingest the data of all the equipments, which includes the telemetry and sensors into our data lake. And then we use machine learning modules built on Databricks that would do this anomaly detection. And then what it would do is it would create all the alerts, and then we integrate that with the alerting module, which we have as a ServiceNow. So we create all our alerts, the anomaly detection alerts into ServiceNow, and then there is a help desk team that is monitoring these incidents, and then they would action on these incidents. Either they would create the work orders for the technicians to go and fix, or they would instruct the store managers to kind of do the self applied solutions to kind of get it back online. Next slide, please. And this is how we have automated our or accelerated our delivery. So we use Windsurf, which is the agentic code developer tool that is approved within our organization. And this is the current situation as of now that we are using Windsurf. And then we use that IDE to generate the code. And then we have the GitLab. So essentially, Windsurf is outside of Databricks. We need to have a way to have them into Databricks. So we use the GitLab and then automated CI/CD module pipelines through Databricks Asset Bundle, and then we then deploy them into Databricks. So this is kind of a snapshot of how we use Windsurf to accelerate the whole thing. So the most important thing that we did is to spend time in establishing the context. It's not that like we start right away with writing the code. We spend most of the time in giving a very lengthy context, explaining how we would do it to a developers or to a set of people who are going to do the development, and make sure that they ask and let them ask us questions after what we have explained, and then clarifying all the answers, just to make sure that there is a proper understanding between the developers before they start writing the code. And then what we do, then we modularize the whole development into, and then we let the Windsurf develop each module, review each module just to make sure that it is it's good enough to be move forward with, and then we go one module at a time. And then after all of it, we must make sure that they are integrated into one pipeline, and we did that. So it is a sequential, not sequential, it is kind of a progressive code generation and review, and then make sure that we know exactly what's been generated before we move into the next thing. And then we integrate all of that with the automated CI/CD module on GitLab, and then we use Databricks Asset Bundle, which would do all the deployments into Databricks.
So then, to return back to the big picture of all this, the traditional approach, as I mentioned earlier, would require typically a team of 2 or 3 engineers for this particular project, and most likely 5+ weeks for the full development effort until we put it to production. And that is a higher cost and slower time to market. With the agentic approach that we followed in this project, we used only one principal engineer, and that was actually the LTM resource that we had as a contractor. Highly skilled principal engineer though, and Windsurf as a force multiplier. So what we managed to do here, we delivered this in under 2 weeks, end to end, the whole thing. And it was the same quality, but delivered at a fraction of time. And here I want to clarify that when I say 2 weeks, I mean until we were ready for deployment. And that is nothing short of amazing. We did spend about 1 week slowly developing the context and all the details about the environment, about the project, multiple back and forth prompts. The prompts were typically 2 pages long. The response is sometimes 5 pages long. Each prompt, right? And there were many, many rounds of that. And that's how we managed to do it. And the other thing I want to clarify is that it's not that it was our fault, we forgot about the deadline, or we were doing other things and then we rushed to the end. Not at all. Actually, there was an external crisis with some other team, and we volunteered to help them. And they didn't even know it was possible to do it that fast, but we did with the help of this agentic AI approach. The impact now for the organization is that we managed to protect millions of dollars in revenue stream. And here now, a technical clarification. Why do I say we protected the revenue stream, right? And I do not say we generated sales dollars. That's because when you have a gas station, think about it, it may have 8 pumps, 12 pumps, 16, 20 pumps sometimes. All right, so if one of them is down, that does not necessarily mean that the average revenue stream you get from this one pump, it's going to be completely lost, right? Because the pumps are not generating revenue independent of each other. When one of them is down, other pumps will pick up some part of the traffic that usually is picked up by this. But this is not always the case. So the smaller the gas station, also some locations are more convenient. And sometimes the customers do not have the time. They get frustrated with their experience at one pump, and then they leave before they try the others. Or maybe the entire station is too busy, and loss of one point of sale also makes a difference. And therefore, there was this one benefit. And we were able to quantify it in terms of dollar amounts. And also the other was that we were able to deliver this project with minimal resources. Speed to market was reduced down to 2 weeks instead of the 5+ weeks that we have taken otherwise. Key takeaways, 7-Eleven collaborated with LTM to implement this agentic AI approach. We operated within a unified Delta Lake environment, so it was very important that we had Databricks and also Windsurf, also GitLab, all of them seamlessly. Even the documentation of this final project, which was done in Confluence, was generated by Windsurf in this case, and we had some very nice summary of the solution posted over there for the rest of the team. What I wanted to mention also is that agentic AI dramatically reduces engineering friction, but strong CI/CD and governance are still essential. Also, small, highly skilled teams can deliver enterprise-scale ML solutions when they are empowered with the right tools. Future considerations now, what we could have done differently if we could start all over. The truth is that at the time, we were at a more preliminary phase of our agentic AI journey at 7-Eleven, because this is a project we're referring back now to October 2025, right? And things are already very different. So one thing that is of primary importance is the semantic layer. I'm sure you're hearing about this continuously right now. At the time, we did not have any. Right now, we have efforts underway to build the context layer at 7-Eleven. And by context layer now, I'm referring to closer to the data ontologies, but I'm also referring to, if you think in terms of agentic AI ID environment, the skills and the rules that you are to follow. And just on a higher level, speaking to from the human point of view, is we have compliance, we have the legal environment where you operate, we have the industry best practices, and you have your own company policies, but then also specific to every project, you have the project goals and you have the microenvironment in which your own project operates. All those are part of the context. So rather than trying to build very long prompts so that you can establish that context, which is what we did in this particular implementation that we're talking about, one could create a more organized and more structured context layer so that the agents connect to that and they already have the context and you don't have to repeat it. And then your prompts can be much shorter and much more project specific. Would you like to add anything, Rajesh?
No, go ahead. I'm good, Nick.
Okay. So another thing that we're doing currently at 7-Eleven is we try to integrate this with Jira, right? To give you some broad reference here, the development effort we had in this project, if I were to summarize it, was use 18 prompts, and each one of them is about 1 page long. The way we actually did it back in October was not exactly like that. It was similar to that. It was more like we offer a prompt that was about 2 pages. We get a response that was about 5 pages long. And then we go and read it paragraph by paragraph. And then we say, can you please lay out the architectural approach for this solution? And then we say step 1, step 2, step 3. And then the next prompt would be, on your step 3, I have a comment, I have a question. Why did you offer this approach? Wouldn't it be better to do it this other way? And then the agent would say, no, actually, you're right, there are pros and cons. And then there would be an analysis of all the pros and cons. So going back and forth now, if we could do this once again, I would say that the optimal size would be 18 prompts of about 1 page each. Those, in theory, could have been Jira story descriptions. And then instead of writing them as prompts to the ID, you could just write them as Jira stories and then give the ID the Jira ticket number and then say, refer to this Jira ticket and please implement this for me. And then that's what we are doing right now. We have started this integration with Jira. Another thing to mention is Windsurf the only ID? No, obviously not. We have Genie at the Databricks that we are considering right now. There is Codex, there is Claude, so there are other approaches. I'm not trying to say now that Windsurf is the best one, but at the time it was the one that was approved for 7-Eleven, and that's why we used it. And finally, there is the command line interface, the Databricks CLI integration that one could use from within Windsurf to run the code in Databricks. And this is the end of our presentation.